we got this characteristic of forgetfulness because we wanted to enjoy away from the Lord. We have been covered by Maya. Maya means that which is not. It is illusion. We have been covered by this curtain of illusion, and we have gone into these three modes of material nature. And so what has happened is, even though our Father, our Supreme Personality, is full of opulences, he is the most wealthiest personality, we do not realize it because we have forgotten our actual position. We have forgotten that we are the unborn spirit soul, but we have started identifying with the body and the byproducts of the body, along with which comes your false ego and other factors. So this is what it means. And the Vedic scriptures, we have got a lot of the Shastras. So we need to get in touch with the Shastras, the bona fide Shastras. So it is also given, Prabhuji had taken in an earlier class that, no, Pransaki Mataji, we are done. How do you go back? You need a sadhu, guru, and Shastras. So the Vedic literature is the Shastra part, which is bona fide to help search out our Father, because it is all given in the Vedic scriptures that our Father is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And the paternal property is love of Krishna, Krishna Prema. Next paragraph, please.
1 second, Madhi. So I'm recording the session. Is it fine for everyone?
I don't mind, Prabhuji. You can tell us our mistakes after that.
Yeah, because every session I record. So I thought of recording this also so that you can go and hear it later in the session.
No issues, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Mataji, have one clarification. I need one clarification, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Mataji, you are telling right on the Vedic literature. So for ordinary person, is poor person, we cannot directly go for loving devotional service to the Lord without going for Vedic literature.
Yeah, Vedic literature is a little on the higher side. It starts with devotee association, no? We have done those 5 angas of bhakti, no? Where we start with the ABCD, no, Prabhuji? It starts with devotee association.
Okay, Mataji. Because
I suppose,
yes,
yes,
Mataji.
Prabhuji.
So it is like our lifetime is very short now, Mataji. So we can skip all this and do loving devotional service to the Lord. Is it possible?
I don't think so, Prabhuji. Unless we are in the association of devotees, how will we know what is bona fide? We have so many Bhagavad Gitas, no? So many people have given their own interpretations of the Bhagavad Gita. That is the basic book for us to start with, correct? So unless we get something bona fide, and how do we know what is bona fide? Unless we associate with people, and then we get to know what is bona fide, and we associate with the thing. And then we have all the other factors, book reading, chanting, and diet. That's how I look at it, Prabhuji. But if you have any other aspect of that, you can always share.
Means like means our ultimate goal means to reach the Godhead and do loving devotional service, no, Mataji. So
Yes.
why we want to focus all this? We just go and just surrender to the Lord.
Prabhuji, I am now going to be 70 soon. Okay? When I was much younger, I never came across these aspects. I was not even in a position to understand any of these things because we are so much embroiled in our material life. We are being carried away by this material concept of life. And how can we suddenly go to Krishna Prema, Prabhuji? It has to come slowly, no? When you get associated with people who are in this line. Unless we do that, we can't, no? I have now come because of association with Ranchor Prabhu from 2016, December. I mean, I'm saying it from my point. It's not easy, Prabhuji. We might do all the rituals at home. We do everything. But have we gained? We have done only demigod worship. But then we are lucky because we know demigod worship is also as good as worshipping Krishna. Correct. It's only now that because of association, we know this is the way. How many people are ready to accept it? It takes time. Prabhupada used to give all of them prasadam to start with, you know, to attract, get people. They say the tongue, no? The tongue is the best way to attract people, but it has to be by a bona fide person.
Thank you,
Prabhuji?
Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Sorry, Prabhuji, I don't know if I put it right, okay?
Satya
Yeah.
Mataji, you are
Yes.
right. I think you are right because let me go the reverse way. Okay, Prabhuji said the final thing is love of Godhead. But to
Correct,
go there, we need a spiritual master or a guru,
correct.
right? But to find the right spiritual master and guru, as we are taught, we have to know some scriptures, whether he is from the correct lineage, whether he knows his scriptures. How will, if we don't know little bit of it, how do you know if that person, that guru or the spiritual master is real or
Bona
not,
fide.
bona fide, unless we
Correct.
know a little bit of the scriptures? So we can go backwards. Without a guru or a spiritual master, no love of Godhead. To get a guru, we need scriptures. To guide us to a guru, we need scriptures. You don't need to read the whole thing till we get. We'll never be able to finish in this lifetime. But certain important things we have got to know, and that we can get only not by word of mouth. We cannot believe any word of mouth. It has to come from the scriptures. So we have to know the scriptures to know whether we are going the right way. Otherwise, you land somewhere else. You won't go to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If you're just
Yes.
going, by reading some books and someone telling you something, someone will say, stand on your head, you'll reach Godhead. No, we need the scriptures to go to the spiritual master. From the spiritual master, who will show you the path to Godhead. So it is very necessary to know the scriptures. If not all the books, which is impossible in one lifetime, some of the important things you should know. That's what I feel,
And
Satyamata.
yeah, that's why we need a guru who's in the parampara, no? The bona fide guru who's well versed in the scriptures and association with him and the other senior devotees, you know, in which will help us to progress.
Yes, I think very nice, Mataji. So nice question and nice answers.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Prabhuji.
So yeah. So see that, I mean, if it is possible directly to fully surrender, then I think that is sufficient. But generally, that is not possible, as Mataji's explained, right? It will take time. Ultimately, if you can fully surrender to the Lord, that is a final what you call perfection or
Yes.
attaining law of Godhead. But that unless until we go to different stages, generally it is not possible. It is also possible when some pure devotee, bestows the mercy on a conditioned soul who is unqualified. So for that, always necessary the scholarship or no. See, Krishna has told in Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita in scriptures that he cannot be attained by any means, like any means. Like for example, by not by scholarship, not by study of Vedic literatures, not by performing sacrifices, not by performing austerities. No, none of these ways, the Lord can be attained is what I told. So basically, that means that no, only by those means it is not possible. Okay, those things may make you progress towards the Lord, but it is not necessary. Just by doing that you will get it. Unless and until you are favored by the Lord or His devotee, we cannot actually get in attain the Krishna prema. So
Krishna.
yeah, ultimately this is right. Actually, Chetan Prabhu is whatever he's saying. No, like if it's possible to fully surrender, then I think we don't need anything else. So all these things, one way we can think that no, they are all different means to the goal, right? But the goal actually is to attaining Krishna prema. So basically, chanting, in pure devotional service, like Shuddha Nam, right? That is a perfection of devotional service. So Shuddha Nam is chanting in pure devotional service or in Krishna prema level, right? So chanting is the process as well as the goal, right? That is the only thing which is both the means and the goal. But nevertheless, I know we know how we chant, right? So it actually takes a lot of purification to be able to chant in that particular come to that stage. We know that no, there are different stages. No, we discussed many times. Ado Shraddha, Tada Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivrti, Nishta, Ruji, Asakti, Bhava, and Prema. So these are the 9 steps in the progress of devotional service. So it starts with Shraddha. The most important thing is faith. Ado Shraddha, Tada Sadhu Sangha. The next comes, once you have little faith, you start associating with devotees. Sadhu, so that's what Satyamataji told, association of devotees, right? Ado Shraddha, Tada Sadhu. Then Bhajana Kriya. Then starts the chanting process and also doing Kirtan, etc. together with devotees. Ado Shraddha, Tada Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti. So the fourth stage is Anartha Nivritti stage is actually the very difficult stage to overcome. It is one of the most difficult stage. So like we can check with ourselves. Are we have we overcome the Anartha Nivritti stage? So Anartha Nivritti stage is the stage where we are getting free from all the unwanted attachments in the material life, right? So are we completely detached? Are you ready to, if Krishna comes and call you tomorrow or today, are you ready to go with him, leaving everything aside, right? Are you ready to give up so many different attachments in your life? So that is Anartha Nivritti stage. Will take very long time. It's a clearing process, right? So that is mostly most of the devotees spend most of the time in Anartha Nivritti stage. So we can ask ourselves, no, have you already crossed Anartha Nivritti? So without crossing Anartha Nivritti, there is no question of surrendering, right? Because we are still attached to so many things. Maybe it is family, or it may be job, no, or it may be money, whatever. It can be so many things. So Ado Shraddha, Tada Sarasanga, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti. Then after comes Nishta. After Anartha Nivritti, the strong faith comes actually, Nishta, the established situation. Then after that, then only comes Ruchi, the taste in chanting the holy names. So till that time, we always know chanting is like a kind of a medicine, right? We feel like it's like bitter. Prabhupada used to say, just like we take when you have jaundice and you take sugarcane juice, it feels bitter. So chanting is the medicine, but actually till you don't have ruchi, the taste, the chanting will be like a bitter pill. Very difficult actually. It's like very, you find very, every time when you have to chant 16 rounds, you feel it's like a huge mountain that you have to cross, right? So till that time, so that is ruchi, right? Then comes asakti, bhava and prema. So these are the final stages. Asakti is actually strong attachment to devotion service or to the Lord. Actually, we cannot, we always want to do devotional service, nothing else. We are not interested in doing anything. That is asakti. Then bhava and prema are the topmost, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited bhava stage, and prema is the pure devotional service. So basically, the point is that these are the different stages. So we can evaluate where do we stand in this process, right? So generally, it is not possible to directly go to bhava or prema, right, without being passed through all this, because we have to get purified. Suddenly, it's like suppose you put something into suddenly into a very high temperature, it may just break, right? It may just disintegrate completely. But if you slowly gradually heat it, then it becomes purified. All the impurities are removed and then become purified. So generally the process is a slow process. No, it's a process which takes time. You go stage by stage, and then so that you are strong, you will not come back to the old stages. But if suddenly it's very difficult to directly jump to the final stage. That is not generally possible. It may be possible when a pure devotee desires so, right? It's called actually devotional service is called ahaidugi apradihata. Ahaidugi, it's costless. So sometimes, like when a pure devotee just desires, or he becomes satisfied with a conditioned soul who is otherwise completely unqualified, who doesn't have any knowledge about scriptures or nothing, but actually he just bestows his mercy on that conditioned soul, then actually he can directly come to the higher stage. That is possible, but it's always an exception than a rule. So we cannot just we can't expect that it may happen to us. So better to do our work and then gradually go up. Yeah,
Wow.
that's
Thank you, Prabhuji. Put it beautifully.
yeah,
Now,
yeah.
this
I just added same thing, Mother. You told. I just elaborate. That's all.
second paragraph. Madhvi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Uh,
So we are searching now for the hidden treasure.
yes,
So
Mataji.
where do we dig? Which side of our house?
Yes, Mataji. From east side, devotional service is there, and north side, meditational yoga is there. If you go west, mental speculation is there. If you go south, Vedic rituals is there. In those all sides, each side devotional service is better to reach Krishna conscious, Krishna for love of Krishna.
Okay. I just wanted to add a little bit. Okay, I tell you, when I did this class earlier, I never understood it. Okay, I just went for the class and took the paper, the sheet. Today, I'm able to understand a bit. So, when the astrologer Sarvagnya tells the poor man, the ignorant man, to dig on the southern side of the house to find the treasure, not to dig on the southern side because he will be attacked by poisonous wasps. So what does this mean? Instead of that, search for the treasure on the eastern side where there is light, which is devotional service. How I looked at it, Prabhuji, is that on the eastern side is where the sun rises, And then when we talk about the Lord, the absolute truth, we talk about the absolute truth in three phases. One is the sunlight, the sun disk, and the sun god himself. So when it's from the eastern side, it is the effulgence from the Lord's body, because we consider the Lord as a personality, Bhagwan, the personality of Godhead, as a feature, as a person. And the eastern side, how I had thought of it was the actual effulgence of the Lord, the sunshine, and which is devotional service but in or Krishna consciousness. Now, what does the southern side mean? The southern side refers to the Vedic rituals. Now, earlier class, we spoke about how we are. Now, basically, we have come to this world and now we are suffering. Why? We have got those threefold miseries of life. That is Adhyatmika, Adi Bhautika, and Adi Daivika. But why have we got this? Because we are affected by the three modes of material nature. And why by this? Because when we came to this world, we have forgotten everything. Though we've come with a free will, we have forgotten, we are in ignorance, and we are covered by this curtain of illusion, Maya. Maya Devi herself is the external energy of the Lord. So we have been covered by this, and because we do not know what is our rightful position, we are identifying with our body and the byproducts, one byproduct being our false ego. At the same time also, we are, because we have no God consciousness in us, we get into a stage of being fearful and we are full of anxiety. So this poor man is in ignorance about all this. So the astrologer is telling him how to come out. Many people, when they are suffering the miseries of this material world, some of them go for karma yoga. They perform these Vedic rituals, and this is done under the guidance of a priest who takes money in exchange for the service. So we do all that. We do the puja part, we do the rituals, everything. And for some time, we get the result. But we should keep in mind that this is only temporary, because we can never be happy by following this ritualistic process. And our material pangs are going to be more and more, because this is not our regular position. Our position is to be with the Lord in Goloka Vrindavan. So as long as we are in this material world, we are going to be affected. So we need to go back. Some people, how do they want to go back? By the rituals, the Vedic rituals, which is the southern side. Then they said, as Mataji said, the northern side is your yoga. That is your dhyana yoga, na Prabhuji, when the people do the meditational process, where they concentrate on the Paramatma feature of the Lord. They do, like as Chitra Mataji said, maybe they stand on their head also, they do all that. They keep on, focusing on this inner super soul which is present within us. But these people only get stop over there. They are the impersonalists. Correct, Prabhuji? They are the impersonalists who stick to the, they know they are liberated in the sense that they are no longer affected by the material life. They have no attachments. They have got detachment, and they're completely only by process of meditation, they are only concentrating on the Paramatma feature of the Lord, and they stop over there. But then that is also not right, because you stay there for some time. That is the place you're in the Brahman effulgence over there. There is no activity. And finally, I think you come back, unless, of course, you get into devotional service. If by some luck you get into devotional service, and then that Bhakti Lata Bija will start over there for that person. That's how I understood. And then for the right other side, that is the Western side, is the how to you know, Jnana Yoga, you know, where we keep on it. This is mainly, you know, like these non-devotee people, people who are non-devotees, very learned people, well versed in books, you know, they can come out with their own reasons for everything in this world, you know, and then get fully confused because they are monoists. They do not consider that there is a Lord at all. They are non-devotees. Okay, they don't consider at all, and so it is nothing but mental speculation, which if a person is ignorant and falls into this, it's only spiritual death for that person. So that's what is for the West. That's what they say. It is the evil spirit which protects the treasure. The treasure is devotional service to the Lord. And what is this evil spirit? It is our mind, which is so confused with so many things which has nothing to do with the Lord. It's a speculative mind. So that's why they say this jnana process is also suicidal. And as the eastern side is devotional service to the Lord. Nivedita Mataji.
Yeah, Mataji, one small thing I want to add, if
Yes,
you don't
Prabhu.
mind.
Yeah.
So the jnana, yeah, also could mean like even see traditionally the jnana could also mean like knowledge in Vedic scriptures also. So
Okay.
basically by Vedic process also, for example, Advaita, the Shankaracharya, no, like
Huh.
their followers actually they also do mental speculation, right? So so it can be in modern world actually such people are very less, but
Okay. Hare Krishna.
yeah, Mataji. So, even the people who are there's we have the example of Sarva Bhattacharya, right? Sarva
Yes.
Bhattacharya, like who actually kind of was well versed in scriptures. He was not a kind of a he was kind of mostly inclined to the impersonal school of thought. There are many actually spiritualists, no, who are actually who are nanis, who can be who are just after the knowledge. They think that okay by their ability they can understand the scriptures, understand, and then they do mental speculation and speculates, no, like maybe this is like this and like that. So
Okay.
even those people also can be considered as nannies.
Jnana.
So because nowadays actually people don't read much scriptures, right? But for example, no, like in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time or no, or earlier times actually when they generally refer to Jnana process means mostly based on some Vedic scriptures actually. So Vedic scriptures also has different schools of thoughts and different branches, right? It may not be
Okay.
completely in the main Vedic fold, but there are different things, no, like Mimamsa is there, Nyaya is there, logic, no. So there are different, so there are many scholars and people who are actually even that Prakashan Saraswati or no Keshava Kashmiri, so they were all kind of sometimes they were devotees of demigods, but at the same time they have a kind of a mental speculation approach, where actually they think the Lord is impersonal and they speculate actually about different things. So yeah, they also are included in Dhyana process. I just want to
Yeah.
emphasize. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes, please.
Mataji, I have one clarification, Mataji.
Yes,
So,
Prabhuji.
Mataji, you are telling about Bhagwan, Paramatma, and Brahman, no, Prabhuji, Mataji. So, uh, if Lord is one, so what is the harm if you worship one, means any one of the form?
The Brahman feature is the just the effulgence. There is no activity at all. You stop over there. You do not proceed, because to proceed towards upwards to the Lord, we need devotional service, as in the scriptures. Devotional service to Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
What about Paramatma, Mataji?
Paramatma feature is the Shirodaksayi Vishnu. It is a plenary expansion of the Lord. It is not the Lord himself.
Yeah. See, Paramatma, the thing is that it's kind of a, it's a previous step to become a devotee. So, if somebody worships the Lord Vishnu, also in the personal form, as a person, then actually he will be elevated to the higher platforms. But actually, the Ashtanga yogis generally meditate, on the Paramatma form, but their desire is not actually to. So basically, see, we know that the Lord actually reciprocates according to the desire of the living entity, right? In Bhagavad Gita, it is mentioned, Ye dhamam prapadyante tam sadaiva bhajamyaham. According to the desire of the devotee, how the devotee worships the Lord, accordingly reciprocate. So everything depends on our desire, Prabhuji. So if you want to, if your desire is to just become free from the cycle of birth and death, and then you just want to be peaceful, right? You want to just become one with the Lord, or no, just want to merge into Brahman, then actually that is possible. No, so that is the first level. So if that is somebody's desire, then the Lord will award that kind of liberation. But somebody wants to go higher. So the Ashtanga yogis actually who perform meditation on the Paramatma form, it is mentioned that they go to higher planets. Like like initially they go to Marloga, Janaloga, like that higher planets they go, and then they gain better opportunity for continuing the meditation. So they are more attached to meditation, and many of them are generally attached to yogic siddhis, ashta siddhis, anima, legima, mahima. So these are all these things. That's why these are all mentioned as different kind of dangers actually, because once you get attached to, see, these are all spiritual paths, but nevertheless, somebody may think that okay, I'm on the most topmost path, but actually they may not be. So if you are attached to meditation, then actually it's like no that if you are attached to the impersonal meditation, then it is like we discussed, no, it's like a suicide. It is like you are being swallowed by serpent. So because almost you are there, but no, like you are just missing the last part. So but actually somebody is still higher, no, they are higher, and then they really worship on the Paramatma. They actually they go to higher planetary systems initially, and then some, if they develop if they develop love for the Lord on a personal level, then actually they can go to spiritual world from the higher planets. So sometimes it is mentioned in scriptures that, no, even in the Brahmaloga, which is a planet of Brahma, when Brahma is a devotee, pure devotee, all the inhabitants of Brahmaloka, right after the Brahma's death, everybody actually go to spiritual world because they are all devotees. So it is a gradual process. So it is up to us actually. See, we can go by step process. No, first become a karma yogi, then become a jnana yogi, then become a dhyana yogi, then no, you can become a devotee. This is one possibility. But actually, because now in Kali Yuga, the Lord actually is more merciful and he is directly offering Krishna prema, in the sense that still we have to go through the process. But actually, he is not telling that you have to perform all other things, because in Kali Yuga it is mentioned, right? Kridaya Dhyayado Vishnu Tredayam Yajdo Magai, Dwabare Paricharyayam Kalaudat Hari Kirtanat. So in Krita Yuga, where actually people lived for 1 lakh years, the process was meditation. Kridaya Dhyayado Vishnu, Tredayam Yajdo Magai. In Treda Yuga, actually the process was performing sacrifices, fire sacrifices. Dwabare Paricharyayam, in Dwabare Yuga temple worship, and Kalaudat Hari Kirtanat. In Kali Yuga the process is chanting of holy names. So we can either, if somebody like feels that I still want to find out all the things, no, like for example, it's like this actually. Somebody is just giving you an opportunity. You are getting a lottery. No, like you're getting say 50 crores, and no, but somebody may say somebody sometimes, no, a very rich person, right, Ambani, or somebody may say that, no, even though he has a lot of money, he may not favor his son. He will still tell that your son, you have to go through all the process. First you work as an employee there, then understand everything, then you go step by step. So both are possible. Yeah, either Ambani can just give everything to him and he doesn't have to do anything. No, directly he can enjoy. Or no, if he insists that okay, I have to go through all the process, then you can do that also. So basically, it's all up to our desire of the devotees. I mean, not devotee, any living entity. Whatever the living entity has a desire, the Lord actually is observing as Paramatma and accordingly satisfies. So unless and until we become purified completely, right, we will not have taste for devotional service. So we may still be interested to do other things. We may still want to do study of scriptures. We may still want to do other things. So when somebody is completely purified, then only they will understand completely appreciate the importance of pure devotional service or chanting the holy name, because other things are all only like previous steps or means to come to a pure stage of chanting. But if you are already able to chant purely with pure love, then actually all the other things are not important. So basically it's like that. Either you want to go by the steps to the 100th floor, or you want to take the elevator. So that the opportunity is up to us. So there is nothing wrong, as Chetan Prabhu has asked, no? It's like everything is actually different aspects of the Lord. It all depends on what we want to do, like what we are desiring. Our desire to like merge into the emergent Brahman effulgence, or like you want to even in devotional service also, right? Actually there are different rasas. We have seen that, no, like we have Shanda rasa, then we have Sakya rasa, right, Vatsalya, Madhurya, like that it goes, right?
Perfect.
Shanda rasa, Dasya, Shanda, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya and Madhurya. So that's the gradation. So first the basic is neutrality, like having a relationship with, when you cross the impersonal aspect, and you go to the next level, then you start appreciating the personal aspect of the Lord. But actually you don't have any real rasas much. Actually it's a neutral relationship, right? Then actually comes next is come the Dasya, serving the Lord. Then actually we have higher is the Sakya, friendship. Then actually Vatsalya, and then Madhurya. So there are different gradations. So even in devotees also, according to the desire of the Lord, sorry, devotee, the Lord actually awards that kind of relationship with the Lord. So there are so many things to choose from actually. So it's just a matter of what we want to. That's all actually. Is it okay, Prabhu? Chetan Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. One more thing is that if any yoga means Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, any yoga. So yoga is sense like you need to connect to the Lord. So
Yes.
initial stage we are connecting to the Paramatma, and then we are going to the Bhagwan. Is it like that, Prabhuji, or how it is?
Yes, Prabhu. See, the actually the Lord is available to everybody in the form of Paramatma. He's the closest neighbor to the living entity. The Jivatma, whose closest friend or closest neighbor is Paramatma, because the Lord never wants to. Even though the living entity came to the material world and he wanted to enjoy independence of the Lord, but he doesn't want to completely abandon the living entity. So he's accompanied in the form of Paramatma in the heart of along with every living entity Jivatma. So that he can guide him. So he is the first connection for us, like to the Supreme Lord. First, we actually that's why also known as Chaitya Guru, right? The Chaitya Guru, Paramatma is the Guru in the heart. The Guru situated in the Chitta or in the heart is the Chaitya Guru, is Paramatma. So he is the first we actually connect to Paramatma. But also it depends on the association. So if you associate with different which kind of devotees or which kind of spiritualist you associate, accordingly our faith develops and accordingly we make progress. So when we associate with devotees or Vaishnavas, then actually we very quickly we move to the Bhagavan stage actually. So in the beginning only, we are directly worshipping the Lord in the form of Archa Vigraha, right, in his form of his deities. So the deities Archa Vigraha form of Lord is considered as non-different from the Supreme Lord, Bhagavan himself. So it all depends on how the living entity gets an opportunity to understand the topic and who we associate with. Accordingly, he will practice that kind of spiritual path. So that's how it is, Prabhu. Okay, is that fine, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. And one more point I want to add, Prabhuji. Not
Yes.
in question. So when we pray to the deity, and how much bhakti is there, how much we are devotional, how much love we have, all these things is seen by the Paramatma, and accordingly, uh, he will reciprocate.
Yes, Prabhu.
Uh,
That's right, Prabhu. See, Paramatma is just a representation of the Lord, right? So Bhagavan is there. We know that Krishna, how the Lord expands into so many different varieties, right? We have seen that in different earlier sessions, like Bhagavatam it is mentioned, other scriptures it mentioned. So it's more technical actually, but we know essentially the Lord expands into so many different forms, and then there are different potencies of the Lord in different avatars, no? Like there is like Vishnu Tattva, Jiva Tattva, no? Like then Shakti Avatesha, there are different avatars. So Bhagavan actually the according to Vaishnava, like according to Acharyas, the deity is not different from Supreme Lord, right? If you have a deity of Jagannath or if you have a deity of Krishna, right? Then actually it is mentioned it is non-different from the Supreme Lord Krishna. Actually, the original Supreme Personality God. He is actually non-different. He can directly reciprocate with you, right? And the Paramatma form is of course is there with every living entity in the heart. The Paramatma is like we have discussed. The Paramatma has two functions, like it is called Anumanda and Upadrashta. In Bhagavad Gita, it's mentioned Anumanda Aja Upadrashta. So he does two things. Paramatma is doing mainly two things. One is Anumanta, means permitting, right? The living entity is having so many different desires. So like the Paramatma is like a recorder also, if you can sing, right? He is continuously recording each and every activity of the living entity. Whatever we do, whatever desires comes into our mind, everything the Paramatma is observing or recording. And no, then actually in various lifetimes he keep on sanctioning. He'll tell that okay, 100 lifetime before you had this particular desire, right? Now I am giving the opportunity to take
Babyak,
this
I'll call
opportunity.
you back. I'm in class.
Yeah, so now no, now you are getting this opportunity. So like that Paramatma will always understand, keep on tracking the desires of devotee and keeps on Anumanda, means he permits that living entity, he always guides or guides the living entity in such a way that he actually can fulfill his desire. So that is called Anumanda, or permitter. And Upadrashta is other one I told now. Upadrashta is actually like the witness.
Observer.
Yeah, Upadrashta. He is always witnessing or like observing the activities of living entity. So these are the two things Paramatma does actually. So Paramatma is more like a, you can think like a proxy of the Lord, right? He actually is a form of the Lord which is present with us, and that is actually it is mentioned that because of Paramatma, the living entity is actually able to live. Generally, we say that no, because of Jivatma, the living entity, the body is actually illuminated and is functioning. But also the Paramatma is also required actually. Without Paramatma, the Jivatma can't do anything. So, like one example, Kripamember was telling, like recently when we were discussing is that Like it's just like a car, no? In the car, actually, like there's a driver and a traveler, right? We have the example like the chariot also. So there's a driver of the car and chariot, and a passenger. So we are, the soul is the passenger and Paramatma is the driver. Okay, so sometimes, no, it is possible that the Jivatma, like for example, when you are in a dream, or no, when sometimes people have this kind of a near death experience, no, out of body experience. So sometimes the soul may temporarily leave the body, but actually it is like Paramatma is still the driver. Now he is still running the machine. He is still keeping the engine running so that the Jivatma can come back whenever it wants. So something like that actually, is understanding. So that way the Paramatma is having multiple functionalities. So, but actually the when we have an Archa Vigraha, right, deity of the Lord, only thing is that we don't have the faith, as Prabhuji was saying, we don't have the faith to see that the deity is not different from Krishna. But when somebody becomes very advanced, when we become pure, then actually we see that there is no difference between the deity and the actual Lord, right? So in that case, we see that the Lord actually reciprocates just like the Supreme Lord. He can do everything, because he is completely potent, he's having all the potency. Angani yasya sagalendriya vrittimandi, right? It's mentioned that every organ of his body can do every function. So basically it is like this. One example, one way of understanding this is, now sometimes we find it very difficult to accept that. So one of the ways of understanding is that the Lord, Supreme Lord Krishna, he is the source of all the energies, right? Aham sarvasya prabho matta sarvam pravartata. So everything is coming from him, right? Sarva karana karanam. So the material energy is also his energy. The spiritual energy is also his energy, right? So sometimes generally the material energy is called inferior and spiritual energy is called superior. So basically, nevertheless, it is all his energies only. So if he wants, he can interchange them. So because he is the source of everything, if he wants, he can convert the material energy into spiritual energy, or he can convert spiritual energy. Both are possible for him. So when he manifests in Archa Vigraha, though he is spiritual, he actually manifests as a material energy because it's a material thing, right? But at the same time, when a devotee is trying to understand the Lord or is praying to the Lord, he can again convert his material energy back into spiritual energy because he can do whatever he wants, right? He is the source of everything. So that way, we have to understand that everything is non-different actually from the Lord, right? Everything is coming from him. But we don't have the faith actually because we see that okay, there is a Jagannath deity. We just see that okay, it is a wood, it's made of wood, no? And then we try to understand the external features of it, but we don't really appreciate that he's actually Supreme Lord himself. Like that actually will happen only when we make more progress. Sorry, Mataji, I actually are overstepping you.
No, Prabhuji, fantastic. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, Chetan Prabhu, is that fine?
Yes, correct.
Okay, Mataji, please go ahead.
So the last paragraph says, so finally the hidden treasure is available on the eastern side, and that is by the process of devotional service in full Krishna consciousness. That is important for this thing. And then that is our paternal property, what we are getting. And a person who's poor in devotional service, then he always is looking for material gain, and sometimes he gets the bites of poisonous creatures, that is the wasp, that is karmic karma yoga aspect. Sometimes he's baffled by mental speculation, so many schools of thought, and sometimes he loses his identity into, which is he's one with the Lord. So these, and swallowed by the large serpent. That is the Brahman effulgence, no, Prabhuji?
Yes,
He's
Mataji.
nowhere, nothing. He's a small serpent who has been swallowed by the large serpent. So, or the end of it is we need to be fixed in Krishna consciousness, devotional service to the Lord. That's the only way that we can achieve the perfection of our life, which is Krishna consciousness, Krishna Prema. And we are very lucky that after in the 84 lakh species of life, we have got this human form of life, and we should utilize this human form of life to try and go back to Godhead. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Krishna Mataji. So I think we can give others also chance. I think Sushil Prabhu is there also joined. So maybe you can ask Mataji some things. Sushil Prabhu can also explain.
Okay. So we'll do which part, Prabhuji, then?
No, generally we can go through these questions, no, or anything like we have some
Okay.
questions here. Some of the things are, if it's very obvious, I think we don't need not ask actually. But
Yes.
if there's something is not covered or no, we have not discussed, then we can maybe discuss that.
Okay, Sushil Prabhuji, the second question, we have vaguely done it. Can one achieve the ultimate goal by following the ritualistic process? And of course, it says, why not? So that means it's not. So why not? That is digging on the southern side of the house. Prabhuji, did you join on time for the reading, Prabhuji?
Yeah, I think he's joined in the beginning only. Maybe a little 5 minutes
Okay.
late, I think. Prabhu joined. Sushil Bro, are you're able to hear us? Yes, sir, I think he's there. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, yeah, I'm not able to speak now. Can you please continue? I will listen.
You're traveling, huh?
Yeah,
Looks like he's traveling from Mataji. So it's fine.
Okay.
Anybody else can answer then.
Anyone else? Chitra Mataji?
Without devotional service, we cannot reach the ultimate goal. These are all the steps, which take you to the devotional service, but it won't take you to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because rituals. It was all right for what is that? The second stage of what is that?
Sadhu Sangha.
Not Sadhu Sangha. The four stages, no? Kali Yuga, Treta Yuga.
Ah,
That is all right for that. But eventually, for this Kali Yuga, that won't take you. It's only devotional service that takes you to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
okay. Thank you. And also that these ritualistic processes, the effect is temporary. And then we are back to square one, going through the miseries of material life.
Prabhuji, I wanted to ask you one thing, not to this topic, but last time, we spoke about Kshetragya's energy, Prabhuji, some Kshetragya energy.
Kshetragna, yeah. Kshetra and Kshetragna.
Is that the same as Tarak Shakti?
Same as what, Mataji?
Tarak Shakti?
Tadasa Shakti, yeah?
Yes, because Tarak
Yeah,
Shakti is marginal energy, and
Yes, Mataji.
Kshetragya is also referring to living energy, no?
Yes,
So the
Mataji.
marginal energy. Are they the same?
Yes. Yes, Mataji. So
Okay.
yeah, see, these are different ways of looking at the same thing. Now we can describe one thing from different perspectives, right? Like that you can think. So Tadasa Shakti is mentioned. So when we talk about the three energies of Lord, then we generally talk about the Tadasa Shakti. Because one is Bahiranga Shakti, Antaranga Shakti, and Tadasa Shakti. External, internal, and marginal. So in that context, normally we talk about the marginal potency, which is actually we discussed, right, like a shore. But Kshetra and Kshetrajna is explained from a different perspective, in the sense, like in Bhagavad Gita, it is Krishna is saying that to Arjuna, that the body is like a kshetra. It's a field of work. So the living entity needs different, because of his karma. He needs different bodies to perform his desires or activities. So the kshetra is body is known as a kshetra, and the occupier of the body is called kshetrajna, or the knower. No, kshetrajna means one who knows about the kshetra is the kshetrajna.
Yes,
So
Prabhuji.
kshetrajna is used in that context. No, when we talk about the body, in that case we talk about kshetra and kshetra. But actually, both are actually refer to the jivatma, the living entity. Fine, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Hare
The-
Krishna, would anybody like to add more? Shall we go to the application question? Application. What are the ritualistic practices you have been able to overcome after understanding this process of Krishna consciousness? Anybody would like to answer?
Yeah, Mataji, I want to add one thing here. Like I used to follow fasting for many gods without for material benefits, and now I'm following only Ekadashi strictly, and keeping fasting for all Janmashtami, Radhastami, and all as per the Krishna, as per our ISKCON details. Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah.
The second one, how do you help someone who's determined to follow the path of meditation? Who can answer that? I don't think I can answer that. How do you help someone who's determined to follow the path of meditation?
Yeah, this is a practical question. So basically, we can tell. See, when we preach now, we sometimes see people who are most of the people they will be doing meditation only. So how do we inspire them to take up Krishna consciousness? That is the question actually. So we can just see what we can do from our experience.
Okay.
People can share.
Okay.
Anybody want to share? Anybody has any experience in that? Then they can share.
Hare Krishna,
Yes,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Only qualified gurus can do Namah Prabhuji. They're like Guru Maharaj. How they teach a doctor to become a devotee, calling me Thai, me my, like a bona fide spiritual master can do that such wonderful thing.
Or our senior devotees, no? All our
Senior.
shiksha, yeah, all our shiksha gurus and all. In short, Prabhuji, you should not be asking us this question, Prabhuji. Application, this one.
No, this is important actually because see now we have reached this particular stage of this thing, right? Bhakti Vriksha. So now by this stage, ideally everybody will be ready to start a Bhakti Vriksha. So
Okay.
in this case, actually that's what means. No, you may encounter many people who join Bhakti Vriksha, and they may talk about no, like I'm doing this meditation, like I like it very much. So how do you handle it actually? That's the question. How do you handle when somebody comes like that? What do you do? That's the question actually here.
I don't think I've not reached that stage, Prabhuji. I'm not qualified.
Okay, maybe Nivedana Mataji can tell, or
Yeah,
anybody else can.
Nivedita Mataji.
No, no, I'm also not qualified, Prabhuji, but I don't know, but I can share like whatever, like whenever I used to be with my family members or my colleagues, friends, first I used to, the talk will end with devotional service only there. I think my some of my aunts and all, they want to hear something from these things from me. Whenever we meet, they want to hear the people, old people and all. And one of one of my sister-in-law, she also very like she liked these things, and she also want to continue, but in between yeah, sometimes I will call her and I will try to encourage her not to fall down, um, but I'm also not eligible at all. That is the reason I'm also not progressing at all, Prabhuji.
And Prabhuji, if we come across such things, we can just put them over to a senior devotee, no, Prabhuji? If by
Yes.
chance.
And
Yeah.
most of the time, I prefer them to chant and read Bhagavad Gita books. I will ask them, or I will be sharing some videos or any the details through WhatsApp and all. I used to share them just
Yeah.
to keep that devotional, to maintain the devotional in that.
Yeah.
And before in our house, nobody used to follow Krishna. Okay, now because of I don't know, but everyone respects now. Yeah,
Very nice, Mataji. Oh.
yes. Before it was like they used to love Krishna, means it was the thing, the mindset is totally was different. But now at least they will respect Lord Krishna.
Yeah. So basically, see, I mean, my understanding about this is that see, naturally, most of the time when so-called people who are interested in spirituality, right, they mostly may be interested in impersonal path, or no, or meditation, these kind of things. Because many people also come to this because they want to, they will have some problem in life, right? They want to practice meditation because to relieve stress. So this is very common. But generally in today's world, I think people are not very having much knowledge. No, they might have just taken this path also, one more path. They want just trying out different things. So basically we can generally, if you ask them, if you tell them that okay, this is not right, this is wrong, like that we should avoid. We should just ask them to do one more thing, that's all. Like you are doing this, you can also, why don't you chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, or no, this is something called mantra meditation. So if they are interested in meditation, generally devotees will say, no, why don't you practice mantra meditation? We are practicing mantra meditation, so there is nothing wrong in that, right? It's also meditation. And chanting, we are chanting the holy names of the Lord, we are meditating on the form of the Lord. So basically we have to just generally we tell everybody, right, whether it is meditation or any person, we will not generally first ask them to remove anything from their life, right? First is actually you are doing so many things, that's fine, but just add this also, just do small things like chanting the holy name, giving prasadam, asking them to come to programs. So it will be very difficult to defeat them. Somebody is a dani who knows Vedic scriptures, if you try to argue and defeat it, it will not work actually. So by love and no, by gradually giving them like taste, like by giving prasadam and association of devotees, respect and care, then I think we can win them. So that is what actually we should be careful that like basically it's more about dealing the person, right, and taking care of the individual, the person who is there, rather than like they may have different philosophy, different thoughts, etc. But we have to, if you handle the person like if you treat them, care them, like and gradually ask them to do some small things in like engage them in service, that's very very important. Like if somebody is like very difficult to convince by argument or logic, then actually we can just if they are ready to do some service, we can just engage them some in small service. So somebody does some service, automatically Lord will bestow his mercy upon them. Lord will give him the qualification to come out. Otherwise actually they are in a different frame of mind, they will not be able to take devotional service. So they need the mercy, right, by which actually they become qualified. So we can knowingly or unknowingly engage them in some service, like, so these are the different ways actually we can do. Any comments?
True, Prabhuji.
Okay, good.
Third
Okay,
one is, what is the treasure you're digging for in your life? That we have covered, no, Prabhuji.
yes. Actually, I was searching for something, but I'm not able to find. So basically, I think in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned, like there are different analogies. So there it is mentioned, like here actually the example is given, there are different dangers, right? When you are actually the living entity is ignorant and he doesn't know that he's the son of a very rich father. So the living entity is not in short of like, he's not lacking anything. He has everything because he is the father of son of the most richest person, or the person who has everything, all the opulences. But actually because we are left his house and come here, we don't know, we forgot actually, right? And then we are trying to find no artificial pleasure or temporary cheap pleasure in this material world. So that's what actually the summary of the story, right? As Satya Mataji mentioned. So we have different things, yoga like yogic process is like a serpent, impersonal path. Mental speculation is given as an example of yaksha. Then Vedic rituals are like wasp, right? And only one path actually is the right one, which actually is the love of God, which is the real treasure. So so that is the allegorical story we have seen today, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So that's the summary actually. So we have to just understand that, like so yeah, in that Chaitanya Charitamrita it is mentioned similar thing. What is mentioned is that in the path of spirituality, right, there are various dangers. Like in the example of that Bhakti Lata also we have seen, right? Bhakti Lata also, like it is mentioned that the weeds, when actually we nurture the plant or the creeper of bhakti, there are a lot of weeds also will come. So the weeds are given example, like they are like unwanted attachment to material things, right? Then there are other things actually, other dangers also, like the like for example Vaishnava Bharat, right? It's like a mad elephant offense. So there are different obstacles in the path of devotional service. So similarly, the different philosophies are there, right? Actually, if you just try to read Vedic scriptures without a proper bona fide parampara, then it's like a forest. The person will. It's like a small child who is lost in the forest. You will not find any way. You will be completely lost. You don't know. You cannot get out of the forest. Like you will be wandering here and there. So similarly, actually, if you go to various scriptures, there are so many different philosophies are there. So all these philosophies are compared to like aquatic animals, like they are compared to like sharks and crocodiles, right? So the false philosophies are waiting actually. So because the Lord, as we know, many times people may ask why all these philosophies are there. So one of the ways of understanding is that actually the Lord wants to Lord, or the energy of the Lord, right? Durga, she doesn't want anybody and everybody to go back to spiritual world just like that. So she want to ensure that like she's a superintendent of this material world, right? This prison. So she wants to ensure that only people who are completely purified and who are completely ready to go to spiritual world, right, or fully convinced and fully purified, they only should return. So that is why the people who are immature, right, there are different aquatic animals like sharks and alligators, crocodiles, etc., to catch the people who are no who are behind the false philosophies. So that's why we have to be very careful actually. If you people who are especially in the path of jnana, they actually are more vulnerable to this kind of things actually, because they think that I know everything, I am a scholar in Sanskrit, I can read any scripture and understand. And then if they try to go like that, then they will be caught by some of these aquatic animals, and then they are ruined, their path is impeded. So that is what actually we have to understand actually. So that is why it's very important, to, as devotees mentioned, that we have to have a captain of the ship, right, to navigate actually this ocean of material existence, who actually can guide us. Because by our own endeavor, our own intelligence, which is material intelligence, we actually cannot, or we cannot navigate to the spiritual world. So that is actually the summary that we have to understand. Okay, do it is anybody has any more questions or points or comments, anything? I think Chetan Prabhu has left, I think, no?
Yeah, must have.
Okay. So here I will stop the recording.